You have people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double fall inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now we can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar.
Well, classes have been ongoing for since September, basically. And also we've had the break at Christmas, and then the classes have started for this session. Um, can you answer that better, Vivek, as far as the future goes, and when can people start the new session with the online teachings, or can they join at any time, which is, I believe, the way it goes? Can someone clarify that for me?
Well, I was with the teaching group last week, and they were saying that the end of the semester is the middle of April. So the new classes will start right after that. I would suggest if you're gonna get started in this from scratch to come in at the beginning. Don't try to come in at the end of the season because you're just going to get confused.
Well, that's a good idea. And also the rates have changed significantly for the April sign up. It'll be $100 or €100 per year as a student, as a KFSSI student, as opposed to now where it's €1,000 to sign up. And I assume it would still be the same for signing up now, even though there's only a month or so left of the teaching, let's say. So,
Yeah.
okay. So if
Okay,
people want to learn, people want to join in the KFSSI teachings right now, would they have to pay that $1,000 in order to attend the next month's meeting? Oh, okay. Okay, great.
okay, we can move on to the second question from Ilya. Is the generator delta Y configuration and off-the-grid circuit blueprint available?
Okay,
Is
Vivek, can you answer
that,
that, or John?
is that part of the package that came from the Philippines lately? Yeah, as far as I know, the off-grid blueprints aren't out yet. We're still working on that.
Okay, in the meantime, we can have a look. Maybe I'll share the screen on some of the other blueprints so we have something to have a look at here with the MagGrav coil. These blueprint teaching blueprint files are actually in a blueprint format, as you can see here. I need to, I have to scroll a little bit for the live stream to be able to see the bottom there, but let me rearrange it a bit. Something like that. You can see it's a actual blueprint type document, but it also shows 3D pictures of the 3D um, files that are used as well, along with these for the manufacturers and so on, for people to see the
The time for, let's say, early in the evening. And until now, we don't know how often we will do it. Depends already also on a little bit security control, because we don't want to have any pedophiles in.
Okay, thank you. Next question is by Brandon Powell. Can I use CGANs to code my Magrav's power system?
You need at least two different ganses to make a potential. Let's say copper oxide and CO2.
Okay.
If I understood correctly, Ali's using CGANs in his system. I wonder if he could come in and let us know if he's using just the CGANs or if he's got a combination.
Right. We're trying to create a differential there, a gradient, is the way I understand it. If the gradient's there, then that's probably a good thing. But will we have the gradient with just the CGANs, or will it be more of a mixture? And would you have to use the CGANs with some other layering to create more of a gradient between the two things? What do you say, Ali, there?
Yeah, I mean, majority of my systems are CGANs, and it's really pleasant to be in it. It's kind of like you feel like you're close to the ocean. In terms of gradients, yes, there's like I use different kind of metals, like maybe copper a bit, you know, different type of plates, some with zinc, some with copper, to get different gradients of it. Um, Maybe we can use, I mean, for the health, it can be used, but for some other applications, the pure ones are recommended. For example, if you're looking at a flight system or stuff like that, it has to be as pure as possible.
Okay, thank you, Ali. In fact, the next question is not to answer.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, next question. I think, Ali, you can answer this one from earlier. For the flight system, how are the inner coils connected to batteries and outer coils connected to the batteries?
Um, well, the way I connected them was similar to the car unit, where you basically connect the pluses to the plus and minus to the minus. There's also some, it's important how you connect the inner and outer coils. One of the things that is important is the coating with these, because you got to create this hydrogen ionization reaction within the coils. So you got to first coat the coils. Remember, if you are doing the 6 and the 12 one, you got to um, coat the inner coils with CO2, and once you basically all the coils with CO2 first, then coat them with CH3, and it has to be, you know, as pure as possible. There's two rings in the middle, and those has to be made with coated with amino acids to support the body within the system, or allow the body to be in the system. And the connections, I think we have to draw it as a, like, similar to the ones that we have right now, the schematics, because it's really hard to just you know, go over it over the voice. People might get confused, so I think we'll coordinate to have those drawn properly.
Okay, thank you, Ali. Next question is from Gatwa. How about the expected changes to the 3-year program to make it into a 1-year program?
That would be for Stanley, I believe. He's yeah.
Yes, we will merge the teachings in the future to 1-year teachings.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
looking from the live stream here. It's from John Wells, who says, Rick, what are the ways to nanocoat plastic supports and or containers for the coils? I think some people have had experience with nanocoating plastic, and usually it's a caustic process. Anybody have any additional
Hi, Rick.
input?
Yeah, you could use cold caustic. What I found with these plastic is that if you use hot caustic, it's going to deform the plastic. So the best thing is either spray them with caustic. You got to also be careful what kind of plastic you use. Some of them react chemically and create you know, dangerous, hazardous gases. So make sure to do it outdoors, and you can simply use cold caustic on them.
And do you use like distilled water or something to wipe it off later, or how do you just leave it on like that?
Depends on what the application is. Yes, you can, you know, wipe it off later, maybe in a day or two. If you are looking for, you know, if you don't want that reaction to be there, the caustic reaction, or you can leave it if it's not important, you know. So it's up to what application you use it for.
Yeah, it seems like a light application of the caustic for a short period of time seems to be enough to create that surface in that case.
Yes.
All right. I'll carry on then with Vivek. If you want to carry on with asking the questions on the list there, that would be great.
Okay, we have a question here from James. Presumption, matter and plasmatic states are interchangeable. So if the intent is the driving denominator, whether one would wish to manifest in physical state that is non-transparent or not, I ask this question to dispel the idea that spiritual souls are getting harvested as is being proposed on the internet by disinformation agents. This is a bit of a deep question here. Yeah.
Perhaps we should ponder it a bit or re-ask it. It is deep, and maybe we need to get a better understanding what the question actually is saying here. It says, so he mentions matter and plasmatic states are interchangeable. Okay, is that a correct presumption to start with? Are they interchangeable?
Well, that's basically the idea that matter is plasma. It's just a very weak state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay, sorry, go ahead.
one of the things I experienced is that what you're talking about, souls and stuff like that, the soul frequency has a different frequency that is not reachable by matter state or even the plasma state, because the soul energy is very pure and it's such a high frequency. So is like you're looking at a completely a different wave frequency. So it's not even reachable to it. So if you're pure in yourself and in your soul, uh, you can, of course, interact with it through your physicality or through your plasmatic state of your body, but soul is completely operate at a different frequency, and that's where the soul of the creator is, and you know we're all connected to that. So
And it's
there's something to explore. It's like a journey in the outer world, but it's all part of the I would say matrix of illusion that we live in, and it's either 3D dimension, fourth dimension, and it goes up and up and up and up, but it's still part of the structure of the creation. And the soul frequency is much higher than all of that, because it's beyond time, space, dimension, and they can't really touch each other, no matter what other people say. And if you're centered in your soul and yourself, nothing can touch you. You're eternal. You're beyond time, space, and anything else.
Thank you, Ali. That was a good way to put it, I think. Everybody will have a little slightly different viewpoint on that, of course, but that's part of the world of illusion that we live in. Okay, have we answered that adequately? Is there anyone else that would like to weigh in on that? This idea that spiritual souls are getting harvested. It's a big concept it does come up on the internet, and some people get very excited about that in positive and negative ways. So I think it's a little hard for us to even talk about it in a way, because when we talk about it, we're starting to use.
Yeah, John, yours looks much better than mine. Go ahead.
Okay, we can see John's picture there of the triple core coil pin. Anything else you want to say about that, John?
Yeah, I had to dig around in the back of the window to get to my mixer. The center stylus.
There's a window blocking the picture there now.
Yes, I know. I gotta. There we go. Okay.
Okay,
The
thank you.
center stylus is it comprises not only the straight pin but also the inside core. So the center stylus is bent back on itself and then wound around. This one, if I remember, is 18 turns on all three coils. I've also got one that's 36. I want to test the two and see what sort of difference that's going to create. And the two outer coils fit. I used exactly the same mandrels that I used for my MagGrav coils. So it's a 5.8 millimeter and a 3/8 inch dowling that I wind the coils around. And they are simply connected at each end. They're just wrapped around the center pin at each end, just like the two coil system is. And on where my thumb is on the bottom of the picture, the end of each of the two outer coils is looped back and pointed back down into the center of the system, so that any energy coming out that end gets directed back out. Very, very simple. It's sort of a hybrid between the Canon and the original Health Pen, so it's not a difficult thing to make at all.
Yeah, and thank you to Renan for explaining the phenomenon to me when I asked him on chat. He was the one who helped me to understand that with a three-coil system, the inner two coils become gravitational and the outer becomes magnetical. So this pen system is more gravitationally biased. By putting a fourth coil on there, the whole thing becomes both magnetical and gravitational balanced.
You would use this where you want to primarily remove energy from a system. The typical health pen, you're going to be adding energy to a system. In the case of a wound or something like that, where it requires more energy to heal or to correct itself. With this system, this would be removing something that's not supposed to be there, or that's the theory.
Yeah, so you could think of like maybe an abscess or a very large pimple on your belt line or under your arm, or some other growth somewhere else, or maybe it might be due to excess water retention in the joints that you need to remove some of that water that's being retained over there. These may be examples of where you can use something like this.
Yeah, we're just.
Exactly, that's right.
So this kind of a next gen health pen, new idea that we're trying out, and so far the people that have tested this, they're getting really nice results, totally expected results. That one, it's in a bag right now being coated. The 36 coil looks like it's just about done, and my 9 coil looks like it's just about done too. So I should be able to be putting. Yes, cold caustic in a baggie, and if you get it when the copper is really fresh, don't leave it sit out overnight. But as soon as you finish winding it, clean it, dip it in your caustic solution, give it a good shake, and then throw it in a baggie. The coating is fantastic, but it's got to be super clean copper. And I should be able to test these very shortly. I found a lady here just up the road from me who's she does qigong and energy work. So I'm going to hand her a couple of these and see if she wants to put them through their paces. I haven't yet. I want to, if I do make adjustments to these systems, I want to make each adjustment one thing at a time, very slow, very methodical, to make sure that I can record what difference it is. If you put in two things and you get four different results, you have no idea what caused what. So I want to advance with this as methodically as I can. Yeah. Yeah, and the systems we've had testing in the Philippines with Vivek, the qigong practitioner that's been working with us. As soon as he picked the thing up, he could feel instantly how powerful this thing was, and I think one of the first things that came out of his mouth was, "This is really going to help me with my work." He's able to see the fields. He can manipulate the color or the frequency of the fields at will. We're getting really, really good results from these people.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the qigong practitioners is that they move chi or prana or magravs plasma through the body system to where it's needed, and they use that not just for healing work but also for activating chakras and opening chakras and so on and so forth. So we found that the qigong practitioners mentioned that they could even use the 3-coil pen to do exactly that, you know, to move the chi and to open the chakras. So the thing is that although it is gravitationally biased, it's not there just to take. It'll give what it's needed as well. And if it's held there for long enough, then it takes, which is kind of borne out by my mother's own experience, because first she felt the energy going into her leg, and that went on for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then the energy started coming back up her leg and getting sucked out of her knee where the pen was placed. So this week I'm going to be handing them a health pen with 4 coils, and I'm going to ask them to get a good feel of that and then do a compare and contrast with the 3-coil pen. So let's see how that goes.
Okay, everybody's got the screen cap of that in case they want to make their own.
So, Vivek, the inner coil is the inner one. Is it just a simple copper wire, or you got to coil all 3 of them?
Well, the inner one is, do you see the central stylus that's running up and down the pen? It's the central stylus which coils back onto itself and comes back out. So if you see the top of the picture where John is holding the output of the pen, it comes out as 2 prongs. But that is the same piece of wire which goes up, curves back, coils back onto itself, and then comes out again. And then you add I don't have annotate function, unfortunately. Linux hasn't gone that far yet. I've just gotten Q&A, but no annotate function just yet.
I can show a little bit different one that I was looking at yesterday that I just sort of popped out of my head, and I put it together. It's slightly different, but it'll explain explain what we're talking about a little easier. Let me move that window and get to my camera. Turn the light on. You can't start your video because the host says stopped it. Okay.
Well, if you'd like, I could actually show the picture of just the inner core first.
Okay, if you look, the central stylus on this one, I've twisted both wires together tightly instead of having a straight wire with a coil twisted around it. But that's essentially what we're talking about is the central stylus.
Yeah, we can see that. That's good.
Is a little blurry. Oh, there we go. That's a little clear. There, click. Gotta like it when it works. The one I have in the picture that I showed earlier, one half of the central stylus is a straight pin, and the other was a coil wrapped around it. This one is as you can see, this is both are wrapped as a spiral, but it's basically the same idea. And this one only has a single coil on it. This is more art than function, I think. It was just something I was working on last night. But it gives you sort of the idea that we're talking about. If you were to add a second coil on top of this, then you would have essentially what I showed in the screenshot. 9. There's 9 twists on the center core, and I didn't count I didn't count these parts here. So I don't know. This is, like I said, this is probably just a piece of art.
from this section also I put a pin quartz, and in this section I put also quartz, pin quartz also. So this is the first time that I put it in this way. So I'm gonna be doing some testing, but I have several testimonials with a paint pen. I'm gonna record a person that have the experience. He got shot, and he got very good results with the paint pen. After 15 years, he's just you're gonna see the guy. I'm gonna get an interview with him probably today. Is really uh, unbelievable the result that he got because he was almost dying. And you're gonna see his testimonial. I'm gonna do it in Spanish and in English today in the afternoon. I want to share also the zero time transportation cube. I have it working. Uh, uh, can I share the camera?
Miguel, before you go on, can we go back to that first picture again, please?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Just the computer is getting slow when I have the. Hold on.
Well,
Just be
I don't
patient.
want to discourage you, but one thing that came up really early, this came up several years ago when Rick was doing one of his plasma experiments. And Mr. Keshe mentioned that using ring magnets, putting the ring magnets around the plasma conduits, whether it's a piece of pipe or a coil like this, the ring magnet actually blocks the plasma. So you
Oh, really?
may discover you're going to have issues with your field interactions with this system.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it in mind. This is important.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good point, John, and that was an item that came up, like you say, years ago when I was experimenting with the vacuum system and vacuum pumps and so on. I had clear reinforced plastic lines going to these vacuum pumps, and I was experimenting with a vacuum chamber with a plasma inside, and the plasma was going down the tube right to 2 or 3 or about a meter or so down the tube toward the vacuum pump. And Mr. Keshe mentioned that that wasn't good for the vacuum pump to have the plasma going down to it for a number of different reasons. And he suggested putting a ring magnet on the around the hose, around the plastic tube, to prevent the plasma from going through. I did try that, and especially if it's a powerful ring magnet, it makes quite a difference. It will choke off the plasma. If it's not a really powerful magnet, it more sort of um, pinches the plasma rather than cutting it off. So in a way, those magnets might, if they're the right power, they could control the plasma in much the same way as the outer coil would of a coil setup. It would sort of keep the plasma inside of the round ring magnets. It depends, for example, how tight the ring magnet is to the pipe. Because if the tubing is a loose fit with the magnet, then it won't be as effective as a tight fit. And if it's a strong neodymium magnet, it would be a much more
Actually, I
pronounced
put
effect than the other ones. Go ahead.
yeah, actually I put two different sizes of magnets. So because this idea came to my mind because the tokamak device has magnets. So just it's an idea.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna be working on it, but I'm gonna keep that in mind that the
Hmm.
magnet device could be just cancel the plasma power. Then,
Because
mm,
they might
Yeah,
resonate with each other or something like that in a particular frequency or particular.
yeah. Also, if you're cascading your plasma collection systems one after the other, you may wind up with one section that's extremely powerful. And like I said, you may get some very strange results with that setup.
Yeah, the zero-time transportation tube, I made it. This is the first testing that I am doing. I'm gonna do some more improvements because I want to have the chance to move the coils to forward to the back to see the plasma behavior. So I put this plasma lamp in the top, but maybe before I'm gonna put it inside, I'm gonna send to make another cube because this one is a solid, so I can put just bigger things that from this side, from here. But right now, I'm gonna send to do another one with this part that you can. We're gonna be able to move this part, so I'm gonna put something bigger inside. I have different plasma lamps, so I'm gonna put it inside to see what is the behavior with the plasma and the coils. I put the 6 different coils, and when I put a heater also, but when I am putting this heater, the coils they are getting very hot. That is normal, guys. But if I put like 4 different
Uh,
different electric things, I don't have any problem. I can use my computer. I can use an stereo. I can use a fan, etc.,
how big
etc.
of a
Sorry, I don't have that information, but
right?
it's taking
Is
it's
there
taking much light because when I put the here, all the lights in the bulbs goes a little bit down.
yeah,
So that
yeah, that's probably indicating a bit too much of a load for the unit. Maybe it can handle it later when it's a better
yeah,
condition or something like that.
I wanted to left it because I'm gonna show you a little bit later how it's inside of the cube because I have a crystal half spiral crystal to hold in the coils. So I wanted to do some proofs to see if they can support the heat, the hot. But this cable got getting hot, very hot. So I put a fan, and with the fan, I didn't have any problem later because the air was helpful. So all the coils they got just warm.
Hmm.
Let me show you inside how it looks inside the cube. Hold on. I'm gonna show you this one because I am spending a lot of hours. I having fun uh, with this experience because I spent several days trying to understand how the capacitors works. So I made a different kind of capacitors with one nucleo inside, and I put a and I have too much energy. I can't just be without eating maybe until 6 p.m. and I am not hungry. Yes, I am eating because I want to eat, because that is one of the very big problems that humanity gonna have, to left the 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 food, to eat the food. But just we are in the process to evolve. So in the center, you're gonna see a half sphere also. I put in the half sphere um, the sub guns. I'm gonna show you the way that is. So in this way, it's in the center, and it's just to giving the energy. But I also put the white quartz. So this one is just the small scale that I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make a bigger one, but I want to have the Here we go. Okay, so I put another kind of paper outside with the same solution, and all the stuff is the nanocoating copper. So, but in the first one, in the smaller one, I made it with fire first, but after that I put caustic soda and hydroxide of potassium, and I put also zinc in the solution, and they got a very higher readings from the electricity, maybe 2000 more than the regular way that I was doing it before. And the nano coated copper that I use over here, I spent 3 months doing it, because like Mr. Keshe said, that we to have an excellent result we need to be patient. So I am doing that. I don't have just different aspect, and I'm very sure that it's just different the way that that both liquids are working. So right now I gonna start doing, because I have this kind of crystal containers to start working with the food. So I gonna put different vegetables and different food, different seeds, and I gonna put a small coil, copper coil inside of the container to just to start just breeding the gans, because I know that the gans is invisible. We can see it, but it's there. So, but it's very important to check out the pH, because I am having this kind of paper to check out the pH before to have it in that way, because if the pH is high, uh, just to be careful, no? So I gonna use the guns with the standard pH that we can use. Do you have any question or any comment?
So on the pH you were talking about there, you use the pH strip to determine the pH of your liquid,
It's correct.
right? And do you change that with putting more distilled water in, or diluting it
Exactly.
somehow?
Because if you are using the caustic soda, the pH is very, very, very high. So if you want to decrease the pH, so I am doing washing with that solution that you said before, that is still water.
Distilled water, yeah. Um, Normally it's recommended that you wash 3 or 4 times with distilled water to get
Yeah.
as much of this caustic out as
Yeah. I
possible.
think that the green color is the number 7. I think that is okay to use it. Because I gonna buy another. I gonna buy uh, the thing that reads
The detector
the
pen,
list.
like.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
one. But I am just looking for it. But right now, just I am using this one for the moment.
Yeah, you can get the fairly inexpensive pH pens from the internet. Yes, I've
Yeah.
gotten one recently.
So in this design, I gonna put uh, different materials and different chemical compounds in the sphere and in the bottom and this one to see the results, how the energy is working, because this one is a solid one, but I'm gonna put a hole in the top to put different liquids. So I am thinking that maybe in the
Good afternoon. Sorry I'm late today, but I've just joined you. Uh,
Hi, Mr. Keshe.
Hi, good afternoon, good day to you.
Hi, Mr. Keshe.
We have some problem in respect to connection. Can you explain to me very quickly what have you done with the ball? I do apologize that I wasn't there to hear it.
I was sharing that I'm gonna use this structure to mix different liquids or chemical compounds to mix the energy between them. So right now, hold on.
What are you using these gases for?
For the zero-time transportation cube, I was showing the zero-time transportation cube a few moments ago.
Can you show it to me what it is you're making?
Yeah. This one is already working. And like I said before, and in the top, I have a plasma lamp that later I'm gonna put it inside a small one to see the plasma behavior. And I'm gonna show you inside of the cube to see the coils.
There's a stacker coil.
6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That is in the top. On the inner coil, I put it in that position to see the behavior of the plasma.
Mm-hmm.
Right there we have the another coil from each side. Right there is another one. This crystal has another coil also. And right there is another coil. And
What is on the top under your laser? The things on the top where you show the plasma ball on the top that you are sitting on top of. Are they coils or what's in those? What
that
are
one?
in those? What are
Yeah,
those
that one
black
is just
material?
a lamp that I put. It's connected. It's connected over here.
Yeah, but what is the black things inside your jars, inside the containers?
The black thing is just rocks, black rocks, because I'm gonna put also coils over there. So the black rock gonna be like because I am doing some testing and the coils they are
What is the purpose of this exercise? What are you trying to do?
has several function or several goals that I'm gonna make. The first one is the zero-time transportation. I'm gonna move the coils in different position. I'm gonna from energy also, like the copper. And I was telling to the team also that I just once I put one capacitor because I made a different kind. Right there is the capacitor, but it's in 3 sections. But it's very powerful because see, I was just putting three, the capacitors was giving sparks and was getting hot, very hot. So with one just for now I am doing this testing to check out how it's working. And I'm gonna make an also the another cube to have the connection with the we trim the cubes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Ned.
Thank you
In
for
what you
the
were showing about the GANs and other things, I form the knowledge of communication. Where up to now you received it. I just felt, I was thinking about you called me. Now test each other with the systems, what you were thinking. Precisely what you were going to tell me. Not only you were going to call me, but what you were going to tell me. What was the purpose of the call? The emotion behind it. I missed you, I wanted to call you. You say, write it down. You missed me, that's why you called me. And then you can say, what was the feeling? Was that because you missed me, you called me? Or you called me for not to forget the water when I come home tomorrow or tonight? Now that we understand, this knowledge has been with us, we have the confirmation of it, we have the whole structure of it, why don't we build on it? We have all the facilities for it to extend it. And we have all the systems now in position to start. As we are losing our lungs, with it we will lose the use of our digestion system. And when there is no voice, no moisture to go to keep the voice box moist, we will gradually lose it. It's better to start testing the transfer of information as an emotion, and we have the tools to measure it. They have the tools to confirm it. In the present time, we call it telepathy. There is no telepathy, just because we have a television. This is a part of the plasma transformation of energy from one to another. We just seen a lot of gases on the table. A lot of materials, what we call different things, in different shape or forms. But the reality is, what is the next step? A large number of people have started testing these food systems. Governments are testing it in a very large scale. Government laboratories, international laboratories, have taken up the challenge of the Keshe Foundation Star Formation, the way we have seen with Jackie, with Ali, and others. Soon you will see the way we start releasing the information on Thursday, how much governments are involved and the way they look at it, that we as civilians don't look. How they are using the new information technology that is literally destroying the whole financial structure which the present false governments are working on. We have seen with the use of GANs, hundreds and billions of control through Monsanto has gone to the wall. You put your seeds in the CO2 for half an hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Whatever has been gene modification goes to the bin. So all the control which was set up to control seeds that only certain people can produce certain food and then through it they can control everything is finished. You have to understand the work of Monsanto, how it was planned and how it works. They are controlling genes, they are controlling genes of original and they're converting it and they're changing it genetically. And then what happens when you planted the seed, you can have one harvest. After that, there is no harvest. That's why thousands and thousands of, tens of thousands of Indian farmers have committed suicide in past few years. Because Monsanto, before they had a seed, they borrowed the money, but the seed now has no harvest, in a way cannot be replanted. With this technology, you can plant as many years as you like. We're going back to the origin, but this time we see a change. Huge change. I have seen, even we see in the report with a lettuce, 55 gram, one lettuce, 145 gram with a CO2, 3 times larger size. And there is one thing very interesting. CO2 is a natural product, has no side effects. So you can eat the product. As you are putting against water of the CO2, not even the CO2 itself is as good as you could ever get it. So the control is back in the hand of people. In the way, those of you who are farmers, we've seen, we heard from Mexico and the rest, the world of medicine, the world of nuclear technology, the world of nuclear industry, we shall be buried on Thursday for good. Which means we are free. We are free to change the course. We've seen it with the food. We will show new releases, government research, which has been kept away from public, which is to the benefit of the public. We have kept the records and we will show what it is on Thursday. Now you understand slowly how the pattern of the work of the Keshe Foundation is coming through. In the coming week, in the coming days, we will shut every Keshe Foundation, any website which is not within the framework of the Keshe Foundation. We have received authorization today. We have worked as one team, as one nation, and we will do that. We have received authorization for the conference. and we will apply for further conferences worldwide in teaching. Our teachers will cross across the world. They will start traveling and teaching. We teach across every nation. Manufacturing is on its way. At the same time, teaching has to be. Hopefully when Dr. Kota goes back to Kenya, and in conjunction with a number of other countries which we already work with different nationalities of it, will release and add to the knowledge. So what we said, the food agriculture from this week becomes one of the focal points of the Keshe Foundation, and will carry on through water decontamination, water dissemination. Radioactive dissemination is on the card. We release the knowledge on Thursday. You can, if any nuclear accident, like Fukushima, like what we had in Chernobyl, that any other nuclear bases, nuclear attacks, which has been one of the biggest threats used by the nations ever used, don't have any more fear. The Keshe Foundation technology is proven by the governments to be one of the most effective deterrents on any kind of nuclear contamination. But the interesting thing is for us is how it's being kept away, for what reason it's being kept away from public, that it had to come to us this way. Why? People like American citizens, knowing a number of nuclear power stations sitting on the fault line on the west coast, which will be a bigger problem than tsunami and earthquake themselves for thousands of years, were not informed to protect themselves. On Thursday, we show you how it's done, how the governmental research has been done, and what data has come from it. All of you who have a huge problem with chemtrails, listen on Thursday. All of you who have a problem with man-made viruses to control, listen on Thursday. The report is staggering to one-sided towards Keshe Foundation. Staggeringly one-sided. We were going to take this as a gift to the Chinese government, but it's so important that it has to be known internationally, and hopefully we'll see the support from other nations. If you are a Japanese, if you are and listen and you have connection to the Japanese nation, the way we had through Yukoko and the others, huge Keshe Foundation support, inform them to listen to Thursday. There should be no more, no child, no one to die of nuclear radiation in Japan. What we saw in Ukraine through what happened in Chernobyl does not need to be repeated. Man-made viruses Or that if you develop, if you understand what is being taught on Thursday, most of you have done, most probably without knowing it, all genetically designed viruses, Ebola. We know Ebola has a patent, so it's man-made virus. It was proven by South Sierra Leone University that it was effectively destroyed within minutes, and all their equipment was confiscated by WHO. Now we ask you to produce these things and test these things on a massive scale. As one nation, one planet. Anything changes till Thursday, the information has been coded to be released worldwide. I have distributed the technology, the information, amongst a number of people that will release it on the internet immediately. A number of governments know what we are going to release on Thursday, and we expect with it a number of changes in governments. The understanding of the technology now has gone into the space level. This technology was built for a space and is so correct that this is why the reason we see so much radical changes in its commercialization and in teaching and its usage by the others as we see further and further more into it. What is important is what is done in the past is done. If it happens in the future, we have tools to protect ourselves. When it happens in the future, we have tools to protect ourselves. If it comes to be in that point, the technology is so correct that I tell you one thing, a lot of pharmaceutical companies have a lot to answer after Thursday because you don't need them. If you have shares in pharmaceutical, set it tonight because on Thursday and next week on will worth cents. And the good thing is, it's not in my hand. It's done by government, not by the, what do you call it? Not by us to create problem. We're just releasing that. You got to understand something. The gentleman just now showed you a lot of work he's done. A lot of you come on this platform, we give you a total freedom to show and share your knowledge, even with the new teachers in the teaching courses. Now we release the research of governments. You play with pennies, they play with millions. And it's your right to have the millions. A number of the space agencies have achieved huge advances in space technology using the Keshe Foundation. No problem. They can keep, but in the next few weeks, we will see it'll be public, people traveling on their own system, the way you are feeding yourself, and then we'll see what this position sits where. But as of from now on, as we said, we go into the teaching of the space technology, and the space technology is for the benefit of us as mankind to help each other, that none of us need to die. Death is inevitable, but dying of the deliberate act, hunger by deliberate act, is over. And in a way, we've done it as the Keshe Foundation, as members of the humanity, as one nation, as one race, and as people who care for the earth, for the planet. So I advise you, if you have any shares in any of the pharmaceuticals, sell today. Sell today very, very fast. The process is in the hand of public. Now we spread it internationally because you have to have it. When an earthquake happens on a fault line in Los Angeles, leads to the destruction of another nuclear power station or leakage of power, nuclear power, the president doesn't give a toot. He's in Washington. Rothschilds don't care. Illuminatis have no fear. They invested somewhere else. But they'll be affected by it because it's you who is going to pay for it with your health, your children's health, and your landscape. They just move the assets somewhere else. Now you get the chance for the first time to do something with it, to change the course. We said before, we say it again, we put a hand forward to all these power plays in the world to come and join the Keshe Foundation. That we do something positive, not negative. But we are not touching their assets. We are touching the people who created the assets to be safe. If you have any investments in the seed control section, sell it very quickly. The energy system we have already touched, we already see, we start receiving huge, huge development in the power production, in the energy system development. The plasma technology you're creating, come on the table and teach us. Bring your ideas that the others can benefit the way you got your ideas from the others teaching. We need it, we go very public with it, and on Thursday we start seeing. In a way, we have made pre-setting for what is to come on Thursday, but on Thursday we'll tell you one thing. In one stroke, we can stop the death of tens of millions every year. I won't do it. We have already done it, we have already shown it. Now governmental research confirms it. But it's not in public. So what we ask you on Thursday, listen and test it and bring it back on the table. We'll introduce 2 new products on Thursday. These 2 new products will save thousands and thousands of lives, millions of lives.
Mr. Cash, I'd like to say سال نوتون مبارک باشه، انشالله که 100 سال به از این سالها باشه
Thank
و
you very
سالی
much.
پر از موفقیت برای شما آرزو میکنم از صمیم قلبم. و البته بازم تشکر میکنم به خاطر همه عقاید انسان دوستانه شما. Um, anyway, Mr. Cash, I had a question about using Immersium 241. Since the last teaching, I've done a lot of research about the smoke detector in America, and quite honest, they're all over. It's just, every single smoke detector has Immersium 241. And is there any blueprint for using the properly using this product?
There is no blueprint because you've got to realize these things have been in the market and nobody ever uses it. It's like the way I said we all made nanomaterials millions of years and Chinese do it every day. The Immersium 241 has been in the market for nearly 30 years now. Smoke detectors used it, extensively is used, but when you are a nuclear physicist and you understand the work, why and how, this was a shortcut in being able to produce such material that it could allow to creation of the plasma. You can do a lot of things with Immersium 241, but please do not handle it. If you handle Immersium 241 and in a way where it comes into interaction with the plasma, it has certain advantages and it has certain disadvantages. As you know, when I came back from Iran, because we were heavily involved in using only Immersium 241, we don't use anything else. You don't need anything else for creation of plasma. And it just comes off the, what do you call it, fire detection systems, not from nuclear reactors or whatever. In a plasma condition, this material, if it's used the wrong way and if it's used extensively by people who just don't realize what's happening at the time, what you get involved in it, like the way we get, you got to realize. For me, Iran is sacrosanct. I will not compromise my nation for no level, nothing. So our plan in 2008 was to take Iran into space unconditionally. It was, for us, important to be able to prove the property of the gravities and the lift. of the plasma, but in interaction with the plasma releases cosmic rays. This is not a knowledge which humanity knows. And if you do not understand it, do not touch it. Most of the cosmic rays we come across, we call it cosmic rays, or we call it the rays which we do not understand at a high level energy, which they can't step down to harmful radiation or plasmatic gravitational magnetic field packages, can come from interaction of free energy packages, we call it alpha, beta radiation or whatever radiation, in interaction with the plasma. This is an unknown knowledge by the scientific world at the moment. And these cosmic rays, what we call these high potential packages of energy, are different ball game. It's like walking into a plasma field much, much stronger than what our human body can attain or hold on to. So people like you who talk, what about 2 for 1, you can buy it, understand you're not playing with the fire, you're playing with what I call a nuclear bomb. It's horrendous. It is. If you don't understand it, we know how to control it. It took me years to develop a technology to control it. It is easy for the physicists to understand it, understand the work of the interaction of the radiation with the plasma. This is an unknown knowledge at the moment in the hand of the physicist. You show me, you with the GANs, you interacted as a plasma. But when you interact plasma technology with direct radiation, it's a different ballgame. It's totally different ballgame. I understood this in early 1980s, and it's something I developed very, very closely in understanding it. Because what did I explain to you? Go back into all the teaching. When we said we use alpha radiation to create a plasma inside a plasma of the hydrogen. All of you look for ionization and the rest of it. No, we looked for creation of the plasma to use the interaction of the alpha radiation or gamma radiation or beta gamma radiation, whatever you could develop in interaction with the plasma. This is a force which can and be used in a very dynamic way, but is more suitable for in the space, not on this planet or within the structure of the Earth. Don't touch. Do you remember what the Mama said? Don't play with the fire. This is a very big fire. Even today, as I said, even disclosing it today, I taught this in Tehran to our nuclear physicists. Nobody could ever understand it. It's the first time we go public with it. The interaction of the alpha radiation with the plasma we create is where we look for huge, vast amount of energy in motion as a plasma. But it needs an understanding of it. And the Iranian nuclear physicists, plasma physicists understood and operate under it very heavily. We are years ahead of any present science in plasma technology. Years, decades. One NASA report says we are 70 years ahead of Americans in plasma technology. The beauty is that the knowledge of plasma, the way we create from the interaction of the fields, if it's done the right way with alpha radiation. You don't need beta and gamma. Gamma is a waste of time in the plasma technology, and beta is worse. But alpha radiation, especially in creation, in interaction with a plasma, which way you create it, it is a firework. It is a massive firework. Let me explain to you, understand the science. Why? Plasma itself is a high density, high level energy rotating entity. Now you shoot a matter strength bullet into it. Have you seen how the meteorites come in onto Earth? What light creates, what energy? Is the same thing. Now you put 400 of them in one container the way I used to do. It's a huge fireball again. Kilometers away, people could see the light. But you have to understand what you're doing, at what level you protect yourself. It's very simple. Your plasma becomes your ball. And then measured the time of the rotation of the Earth, and in coming to the position when it switches from winter to summer. And it was 365 days, so many hours and seconds and minutes and seconds. In the Persian, or what we call in the Eastern culture, we measure the second when Earth passes a point that the winter finishes and the Earth moves in the new position that the spring starts. That's why we call it the new year, beginning of the spring. So it doesn't happen like the European at 12 o'clock, the thing is the new year. Every year, 365 days, so many hours, so many minutes, so many seconds is added to the last time last position was achieved, and this is becoming the new cycle of waiting till we come back to the same point. So we measure a fall sometime in the middle of the night. This year was 8:30 in the morning, and it goes back by 6 or 12 hours according to the measure, which is the time is that we come back to. And this is what I said, very interesting too. scientists very recently. They hung the man of the church for saying the earth was round a few hundred years ago in Europe, where the Persians measured the rotation of the earth around the sun thousands of years ago. We are very advanced, and now plasma technology makes it worse. But the thing is, it's not the Persians, Indians. The Silk Road celebrates the beginning of spring. Alzars do, call it, what do you call it? All the Kazakhs do, Uzbeks do. Japanese celebrate the 1st of New Year, 21st of March. Most of the Eastern China, the Silk Road celebrates the beginning of the spring. So it's all of us, we celebrate it. Thank you, go ahead.
Yeah, and I really like your this rituals with the 7 things, the deep, the 7S. Yeah, it's a really nice ritual. Mr. Keshe, as far as I understood, is giving and receiving is some kind of natural law. I don't know. Well, yeah, it is. And so I think giving would improve. I wanted to know, maybe you can tell me, how can I become a better giver? You know what I mean?
I don't know, you gotta understand what you get back for giving better. Depends how do you know, maybe you're already a very good giver but you don't know it because you'll be giving a lot. But it depends what you're expecting to give and how do you want to measure it. Once you start measuring a giving, you haven't given, so you put a measure to it. You understand?
Yes.
This is the philosophy of life. Once you put a measure, it says, how much do you love me? A lot. How much? 2 apples or 3 carrots? So when you start measuring it, you already lost the value of it.
So it's more about the attitude and the emotion behind it.
We can't hear you, it's a bad line.
But it's about the emotion and the attitude.
Rick, is there a problem here? What's the problem here?
Yeah, sounds like a bandwidth issue at his end. Perhaps if you just speak for a minute there, it might kick in properly, Michael. That's what happened when you started you could try it again.
Yeah, it also tells me actually. Yeah.
We have a problem.
Yeah, I'm afraid it seems to be a bandwidth issue coming from his end.
Any other question?
Anyone else in the panelists who would like to, let me see, we also have some other questions on our chat as
It's
well.
nearly 5 o'clock.
Is there anything else that you wanted to present, Mr. Keshe, as for part of today's teaching?
No, I think if you understand, we taught a lot. This teaching is not anymore making cancers or whatever. It's to do with how we interact, how we produce things, and how we expect to see things happening. There's a lot of work going on in the background that will come into light in the coming months and weeks and days. But the, what do you call it? In a way, we are going is becoming very, very, very powerful. The work, the research is becoming very powerful, and I I do not extend in talking when we set things up till the results comes in. But there's a large amount of research which is going on, which are doing what we wanted. We freely gave the knowledge, and that has brought a lot of work You are people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils, double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano, and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now we can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. And from today, we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other
significantly for the April sign up. It'll be $100 or €100 per year as a student, as a KFSSI student, as opposed to now where it's €1,000 to sign up. And I assume it would still be the same for signing up now, even though there's only a month or so left of the teaching, let's say. So,
Yeah.
okay. So
Okay,
if people want to learn, people want to join in the KFSSI teachings right now, would they have to pay that $1,000 in order to attend the next month's meeting? Oh, okay. Okay, great.
okay, we can move on to the second question from Ilya. Is the generator delta Y configuration and off-the-grid circuit blueprint available?
Okay,
Is
Vivek, can you answer that, or John?
is that part of the package that came from the Philippines lately? Yeah, as far as I know, the off-grid blueprints aren't out yet. We're still working on that.
Okay, in the meantime, we can have a look. Maybe I'll share the screen on some of the other blueprints so we have something to have a look at here with the MagGrav coil. These blueprint teaching blueprint files are actually in a blueprint format, as you can see here. I need to, I have to scroll a little bit for the live stream to be able to see the bottom there, but let me rearrange it a bit. Something like that. You can see it's a actual blueprint type document, but it also shows 3D pictures of the 3D files that are used as well, along with these for the manufacturers and so on, for people to see the
The time for, let's say, early in the evening. And until now, we don't know how often we will do it. Depends already also on a little bit security control, because we don't want to have any pedophiles in.
Okay, thank you. Next question is by Brandon Powell. Can I use CGANs to code my Magrath's power system?
You need at least two different ganses to make a potential. Let's say copper oxide and CO2.
Okay.
If I understood correctly, Ali's using CGANs in his system. I wonder if he could come in and let us know if he's using just the CGANs or if he's got a combination.
Right.
Are believe are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar.
Well, classes have been ongoing for since September, basically. And also we've had the break at Christmas, and then the classes have started for this session. Can you answer that better, Vivek, as far as the future goes, and when can people start the new session with the online teachings, or can they join at any time? which is, I believe, the way it goes. Can someone clarify that for me?
Well, I was with the teaching group last week, and they were saying that the end of the semester is the middle of April. So the new classes will start right after that. I would suggest if you're gonna get started in this from scratch, to come in at the beginning. Don't try to come in at the end of the season, because you're just going to get confused.
Well, that's a good idea, and also the rates have changed significantly.